It is a podcast on a Tuesday, but filmed the Tuesday prior.
So this is our second podcast. So we are ready and warmed up.
What episode is this?
215.
Chiguare, boys.
Chiguare.
These pipes are lubricated.
They are lubricated. A new Diet Coke just been cracked open for podcast.
Mine hasn't been cracked open.
Give it a good... Oh, that was a good juice.
It's going to be a good Coke.
Welcome to the Baking It Down podcast. If you've never heard of us before, welcome. Appreciate it. You are on podcast episode 215. You have so much to do to catch up, but we are so glad you're joining us.
Question. If you're listening to the podcast and you started mid-cast, did you start from 1 and journey forward, or did you start from today, journey backwards? You start in the middle.
I want to apologize to anyone who started on number 1. It was
I want
red.
to apologize for 1 to around 23 episodes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was very strict.
We're getting our sea legs upon
But
us.
maybe the strict was the friends we made along the way. I don't know.
Every podcast I've ever started and listened to, like that's been around for years, has started off lackluster, to say the least.
You just don't know where you're going to go.
You never know. You never know. But Heather made us read off papers back in the day.
Sure, I didn't check my...
Did girl, did If you are wondering, where are these two Looney Tunes from? We are from a Facebook group called the Sugar.
I was going to say, just outside Washington, D.C., Virginia side.
That too. We are from the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group on Facebook. That is where this podcast stems from, because from that group, we can see what's going on, what's trending, what's the drama.
I want to be honest. If you're listening to this right now, I'm actually poolside.
We are poolside. I could be in bed.
Drinking hand, maybe. Corey says she's not sleeping. Text in. Ask if she's sleeping right now. 571-556-5644. I almost gave that number to a person in my personal life. Not a boy. It's a website. But I was thinking, like, I say that number so much more than I say
your own phone number.
I'm not saying that to nobody. Ain't nobody done ask for that.
Ain't nobody asking. So we wanted to dive on into the world of AI.
I know.
Sure.
AI is a future. And if you're like, not in my baking industry, you will be left in the past.
Well, you have to realize the industries that change stay relevant.
Here's a great quote. Not my own, TikTok. The AI won't take jobs. It won't replace our jobs. I will, but it won't replace all our jobs. But the person who uses AI will take your job. The person who is well-versed, who can make AI work for them, will be the person that will replace the person who refuses to adapt to the new technology.
We have seen bakers kicking and screaming at the thought of Eddie entering the space. And look, now he is so utilized and a baker's best bud. So if you're like kicking and screaming because you hate new things coming to the industry, I'm sorry. A good industry needs new things coming to it.
We need technology. We need advancements.
Yeah.
What it does, and this is where you can kind of repivot your angst here, is it buys back your time.
It does.
And AI is that.
It is.
Now, right now, today.
Sure.
I don't think it can be the only thing. I think it can be the jump point. AI, these large language learning modules, they're learning as they go, and they get increasingly better in just so quickly.
Yeah.
For the baker, that's 100% making AI replace them. I don't know if it's there right yet, because I can still tell when AI wrote it. Mm-hmm. One day I won't be able to tell. In which case, by all means. Right now, though, I think it's got to be I think you and AI got to work in tandem.
Here's the thing. Every time I write an email, every time I Google something.
Oh, AI is being shoved down my throat.
It's literally, every time I write a post, it's like, do you want AI to write it? Because you don't know how to write stuff.
Google Drive is like, do you want us to tell you in this document before you open it? I was like, I'm about to open it.
So here's the thing. You can go kicking or screaming, or you can take a step back and think, as a business owner, how can I utilize AI to help me become a better baker, to become a better business owner?
AI can be your virtual assistant.
It can be.
And there's costs associated with it. Unfortunately, a hostage situation with my Gmail. It's like, we're giving it to you and you're going to pay for it. Okay, but we can use AI. I was taking a short class on creating an agent. Also, might be watching that right now. We just don't know. Mission Impossible 8. We just don't know what I'm doing. But I think AI has to be implemented. So Harvard Business Review wrote 50 or 100 ways, and Corey said we're not allowed to read them all, that people are using AI. Then I took that question, I asked it on our Facebook page, the Sugar Cookie Marketing page.
A great way. I love the list that people are doing.
I would say the Harvard Business Review one is kind of odd.
Sure,
I'm sure. Just every word they could think of. AI probably came with the list. Here's what I think. I'm going to just go through some of those, and then we're going to go through, I'm just these kind of Funko ones.
Yeah.
It says number 1, therapy and companionship. Now, I do use AI to research stuff. Google LM. Have you heard about that?
No.
You can tell this AI, Google's LM, to say, only from the literature I've given you can you derive your answers.
Oh, interesting.
I'm going to give you 10 pieces of literature that is books or scientific papers. And then from there, you're only allowed to formulate your answers.
I want to just tell you, where AI gets its information, it's not learning anything new. It's pulling information that is already out there.
From the internet, which comes with the whole who owns the artwork when it's pulling from other people's artwork. But I want
to say, you can't be like, hey, create a new recipe no one's ever seen before.
It'll be like, okay.
It'll do its best. It might taste like poo-poo, but it's doing is pulling information from things that are already out there.
Do you use AI?
I use it.
Which one do you use?
ChatGPT.
I use Gemini, which is Google's. But now when I talk to it, at the bottom I'll be like, but maybe check twice. We don't know if this is right.
Yeah, because here's the thing. If someone posts misinformation on the internet, AI can pull from there. That's why I'm making sure that you're double checking what you're posting, not just relying on it. Because we're not on a relying part of AI currently.
Not yet. So same with the thing. And I've seen some therapists, and they're obviously biased, but I think some therapists are like, it's opening the door to the ability for people who didn't think therapy was for them to have that communication and feel what it's like to be validated by a third party. Right. It should not replace a therapist, but maybe they just want to take your money. Who knows? Number 2, organizing my life. I agree.
Yeah.
I'm not even tapping it barely. If you use Google Photos now and you go use a search feature, it is AI based. Mm-hmm. They switched it over. I can tell it, find me any pictures of a black car. That's a crazy thing that I'm able to tell it as I speak to another human, and it takes an action and pulls in my Google Photos, anything it recognizes as a black car. Is it perfect? No. Is that fascinating? Yes.
Sure.
So for you non-organized photo people who keep all your cookie photos there, you could essentially say, find anything that looks like Pooh Bear.
Any Pooh Bear, any red, white, and blue bear.
Yeah, you could do that. So organization, I know it's very implemented into, I think I had asked it in my Gmail to find an email that mentioned this thing because I couldn't remember who sent it to me. And then it could say, because it's reading everything.
Interesting.
Instantly. So that's an interesting one. Number 3, Funko, finding my purpose.
What?
It's people are using it to find their purpose.
Oh, direction.
Now, here's one, generating code. I haven't been able to touch that one, but I see people, these agents, these AI agents are able to understand what you said and create the code without you having to write it. Generating ideas, I do like that one. And we'll talk about that one in our Baker list. Preparing for interviews. So you could have it be the interview. Here's an interesting way. I found this group. Am I divorced? No. Am I been ever married? No. I found this group about divorced people in their 60s.
Wow, for you to join
I love to read stuff like that. Anyways, Google has a version, an AI model, that you give it your text messages with your ex.
Yeah.
And it creates a podcast, 2 podcasters, and there's always Brenda, and I think the guy's name is like Tim or something. And they'll say, do you see what the ex did right here? Now, this is an example of a narcissistic, very interesting way to get a third-party review without having to ask your mom.
Yeah.
Creativity, specific searches.
I agree.
So I asked it to find some movie recommendations for mom.
Here's the thing. When you Google something, now you'll have an AI review. What AI is doing at the top point is pulling from the top articles there, so you don't have to go click to a million websites. I love that part.
Yes. It says troubleshooting. I try to use AI to troubleshoot, and it kind of just makes it up. I'm like, that button's not there for me.
I actually ran into the room. It was dark. And I have an air purifier. Tripped right over it because someone left it out in the middle of the way.
People are moving your purifiers around?
It's right in front of the closet door so I have to get in the closet. So I fell over. It also fell and stopped turning on when we had our discombobulated moment in the dark. I tried to get on AI to tell me how to. It was no. I ended up just clicking a bunch of buttons that did turn on, but AI was not helpful there.
Someone wrote, this list, tax advice. It wouldn't be for me. I would do as a preliminary research question, so I'm not stupid.
Am I evading my taxes? It could answer that. How to file my taxes? Maybe I don't think it's it.
Our accountant sent me an acronym. I didn't want to seem like a demo. So I asked AI, if an accountant used this acronym of which Google is not producing what he probably meant, what does he mean? Then it told me. I was like, and then how do I get that? And it told me. I was like, thank you for saving me a personalized kid story. Now that's interesting. I don't have
story.
Yeah. So write a story about my kid, and I'll read it to him tonight.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's an interesting
never have ever.
I want you to ask it to write an Archer story. And
how would it know? I would be typing It would just make up. It doesn't.
We'd say, hey, my son's name's Archer. He's 15. He's going through a hard time brushing his teeth or something, and then would write a story.
Yes, going through a hard time.
Explaining legalese.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Adjusting the tone of an email. Great.
Yeah, great.
Marketing copy. We're going to talk about that. Generating a lesson plan. I see a ton of teachers doing that.
I could see that being a good one.
Fact checking. Rough go, because we're supposed to be fact checking the facts. Drafting a document or formula letter. Reading books. Giving me a summary.
Yeah.
I like to have it. Okay, water bottle. If this is AI. Breaking the rules.
Why? That's weird.
Planning workouts. I do like that one.
Oh, that'd be a good one, because you could say, here's my goal.
Generating videos. I'll be honest. I don't like seeing AI in my videos.
No, it makes me feel weird.
Yeah, I like to. I found this YouTube channel that just allows me to watch the interviews of when you go to interrogation.
Yeah,
that's all it is. But of course, it's kind of boring watching this person sit in a chair for 2 hours. Little do they know I love it. So they've added this AI stuff, and someone's like, whatever that is, don't do it.
Yeah, I know. He's not great right now. It's almost like, why is my Facebook endless people on, what is that Next America's Great Talent? America's Got Talent. It's these fake AI
Corey,
people.
They're like turning into dinosaurs.
Horses. I don't get it.
I don't know, but and then it AIs the people clapping, and then it takes the actual the graphics, the video of the judges, and they're real and they're covering them up.
I unfortunately clicked to one, not knowing it was fake, but now I've only been served them a million times.
Shopping, work buddies, raising your kids. Wow, the future's now.
Well, go and take us to the baker one.
So this is one, and I thought this was good. So obviously AI, and I think that those lists are great to get you to think, oh shoot, I didn't know I could plan a workout or as an itinerary for my trip. So let's see how bakers are using it. And I found this was very creative. And I asked this question on the sugar cookie marketing page.
Yeah, if you want to know, Heather is the Wild Wild West on the page. So a lot of times she's asking, what's your idea to less spread in your sugar cookies? What is your ideal
I very much enjoyed reading comments. Thank you for everyone who leaves one. Renee said to make one-line drawings for cookies. So what she did, and she posted a picture, she told AI, she's using an image generator. I could guess it's probably ChatGPT, and I think it has to be paid to use the image generator. She said, turn this photo into a single line art. Then she piped over that.
Yeah. So if you are unfamiliar, there's this technique called the roundhouse technique made by Roundhouse Cookie Co. a few years ago. And it takes a single line drawing. But oftentimes we used to Google, hey, turn this police officer into a single line drawing. And then you'd pipe that onto the top of the cookie. Now with ChatGPT, you can ask it to turn something random. Hammer.
What I'm seeing here, and I'm just looking at the image, it actually kind of looks, it's probably not how she tried to pipe, but the guy from You, it looks like him. But she has used the single line. She didn't print it. She piped it. She used it as a projector. That's a really neat way to make very, very custom cookies.
I saw someone on TikTok, a baker, was asking ChatGPT to make a simple drawing that she could turn into a cookie cutter.
Very cool. Yeah. I can see people somewhere they're getting AI, and I don't think it's dialed in yet to create the STLs.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Erica says, when I'm brain dead, I'll have it rewrite my copy to sound like I'm a lively, awakened human.
I will say sometimes we get so frozen when it comes to our copy that we end up saying, thanks, Billy, for turning 2. That is not great copy because it's not converting. It's not adding interest. It's more just phoning it in.
So with the copy thing, I'll actually have AI. I'll be like, hey, I'm writing some copy for the cookie class kids. These single line posts, right? I don't think AI gets humor yet. I think it's very hard for it to understand humor. So it will write its best. Some puns, I always say include some puns. And then I'll use that and I'll rewrite it. And I think there's a key right there. Because the other day I was reading and someone had posted like, thank you guys so much for watching my YouTube video. Bracket, YouTube video here. Bracket. Like they didn't even edit the copy. I don't think we can just let it go unedited. I think we've got to have it. We got to kind of
Here's the thing. People buy from those they know, they like, and they trust. If we're all sounding like a regurgitated ChatGPT, there's nothing that someone can attach to. I'm friends with Heather, mostly because my mom forced us, but a little bit because she's funny and she has a personality that isn't replicated so
Your
much.
clients like your personality as well. I like AI. I like to marry it to my workflow. I don't want it to replace my personality.
Yes.
So therein, I like Erica's like, when I'm not funny, may it be funny.
Yes.
But when I'm funnier, may I be funnier.
What's funny though is people don't write content on the internet. You have to remember, AI is pulling from things that are already on the internet. People write on the internet not funny because they're more writing informational things. Well, so that's why it's hard for ChatGPT to be funny.
Right. Here's a great example of what Corey's trying to tell you is that AI is only producing what has already been produced. It's reproducing it. It's fascinating that you can talk to technology now, whereas not more than 2 years ago, we were Googling and attempting to bridge those ourselves. If you ask, I was listening to a guy on TikTok, he was an AI scientist, and he said, ask AI to generate an image of someone writing with their left hand. He said it struggles so much because most people are right-handed and most images on the internet are right-handed images. He said it's very hard to get AI to do left-handed. He said also, tell it to put on a watch in a specific time. Tell it to do where the numbers are at the 6 p.m., 6 o'clock p.m. on the nose. He said AI struggles so much because most product photos of watches show it at 2 and 45?
It's a 90-degree angle because it wants to.
It's the most
product
aesthetic.
Photos are trying to show you what the little hand in the big hand looks like, so you'd buy the watch.
Right. So he says AI really struggles to ever change it. You can ask it many, many times, say, try it again, and it just cannot fathom it because that doesn't exist on the internet where it's pulling this information from. Moving on, Katie's Cookies. I just asked ChatGPT to help me design a set. I can't find inspo pics for it, and even though I didn't love what it gave me, it sparked the creativity, and now I have a whole set designed.
That's so nice.
So she used the image generator, and it was interesting. Let me just click on the inspo photo. It was a lady's, I'm not sure if this is a lady's name. She said a girl named Annie's probably turning 1 and then wants a banana fruit theme. So it says Annie Banana. It has the cutest little banana. It has a banana on top of a cake. It has one with little banana transfers on it and cherries. So very cute. And she said, this helped me. And she's using ChatGPT.
Kind of get her creative juices flowing.
Yeah. It's funny because she screenshotted her phone. And the bottom it says, ChatGPT can make mistakes. Check important info. Yeah. Thank you. Peggy says, she asked, which AI app is everyone using? Do you get enough help from the free versions or do you have to get the paid versions? I find that most of these AIs, when this is more technical stuff, you'd want to pay. It's $20 a month.
That's not
It also
cheap.
retains more information and allows the image generators. What I'm seeing, Peggy, because we didn't answer it there, is Google's using Gemini, so it's implemented into a lot of places. And ChatGPT seems to be the big one.
Yeah.
And then what else are they using? Claude is a big one and you got to kind of find the ones that do well for the specific task. Yeah. So image generation is going to be different than copy generation.
Yeah.
Here's a wild, wild west. It's moving faster than I can.
Yeah.
Vivian says, once in a while, I use it to change the background of an image.
I will say that has been fantastic. Some clients sent me oddly an AI-generated image that she wanted on a cookie.
And this is what's getting Baker's fired up, and we're going to talk about in a second.
What am I saying?
I hate when AI send in an image. AI just helped you make a sale.
Yeah. She sent me, here's the thing. I couldn't have taken the order without this AI image. She wanted a flamingo as an astronaut. That's what the team mascot was. And I said, I don't think I could pipe that onto a cookie and make you happy. And she was like, what if you printed this image? So now that's something that I can do. Here's the thing. She sent it with a lot of black. He was obviously in space. And I said, you know what? Instead of having so many black, like such black on the cookie where it's going to dye people's mouth a little bit, let's take it, put it on white, and I'll add some pipe stars to really make it pop. So I was able to ask AI, since it was an AI-generated image, can you take the black out? And then it did.
Fascinating way to use that and to maintain the sale. Now, was the flamingo AI-generated? Is that how they came up with their logo?
Yeah.
So you can see AI is more complex its images, but you can also tell it, hey, lessen it. Like we got the single line on it.
Yes.
Vivian also added, I'm involved in a networking group and we have to give 10-minute presentations. I'll have AI create the framework that I built from. And I do like that because it organizes it. Kelly B says copy ideas when I'm having trouble with mixing a color, although I haven't found it as helpful with colors as I had hoped. So I see a lot of people saying like, AI can help you just tell it the color that you own and tell it the color that you want.
Yeah.
This is a risky one.
It's a risky one because you can't go back and make an uncolor. You can't take any
go
of them
back. So again, it's going to be that testing thing. I still find that asking in a community, Facebook baking group for a color mix is probably better.
I will say there's an app called Color Mixing App. And you can say to this color mixing app, I only have the primary colors, but I need to get to this stage screen. What primary colors can I use to make
AI?
No, it's just an app. It's a lot more helpful, I will say.
Okay, good. What's it called?
color mixing app.
Okay. AI, you're out for that one. Back on the bench. Michelle said, I started using it just for copy, but lately I found benefits for asking it to come with cookie set ideas, mock-ups, and even giving a cookie cutter and asking it to design a cookie, because she'll give it the shape and say, make the cookie.
Oh, interesting.
Now, the name escapes me, and as soon as I describe this, you're going to know what it is. A company that sells metal cookie cutters, but they're using AI to generate what the cookie could be decorated like.
Traditional cookie cutters?
Yeah. So they give it the shape, and it's coming up with the designs. Now, it's hard to extrapolate that to the actual design, but it's a guide.
I want to say it's a guide. As a baker, and I'm seeing this more on Etsy, that people are using the AI to create the cookie. It's harder for me to want to buy that.
Cookie cutter shops, listen up.
Because I need to see either a flat image that I'm going to make or someone else decorating it. To see an AI with so many shadings and shadows.
Corey hates her some shadings. Ask me and my Procreate app
Listen,
how it
I need
knows.
to see a flat image.
Heather, not this Heather, but another Heather says, it helps me with copy and client communications. And I like the client communications one. Now, here's the thing. You say type formally, and it sounds like you're being taken into a court of law.
Yeah.
I would have it remove anger, but I necessarily not sure I'd have it be so formal.
It can honestly tell you if you're being too accusatory.
Yes.
And it can rewrite it to be more family friendly.
For you guys wondering, you can tell AI, hey, please rewrite this so I don't sound angry. It's going to spit out something. You're like, okay, add some, add some additional parameters. So you can say, great, this is great. Now make me sound friendlier, while also not fully blaming the client, but taking on some culpability.
Yeah.
These parameters give AI, and AI works with more information. It doesn't want the less information. It wants more.
Yeah.
Give me more information. And then it can and what you can do within your conversation, you can provide more feedback. Like, hey, I like what you did there, but can you change this? It's not exactly what I want to sound like.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the feedback. Blah.
Uh-huh.
I know what people are going to say right now. You're going to grab your little candle and you're going to virtue signal and say, we're killing the trees. Listen, AI and the data centers that support AI are in Northern Virginia.
They are.
Oddly.
They're
They're massive. They are ugly squares full of air conditioning units. Use AI as it's provided to you. Even the guy who owns OpenAI, ChatGPT, said the thank you does help AI learn better, but it is costing a lot of energy cost. So what I do, I thank it with my next question. Hey, that's a great point. Here's what I want you to do as well, instead of a bunch of different back and forths. Mm-hmm. And don't be afraid to just leave the conversation. Mm-hmm. I did yesterday, and I said, that felt rude. That felt rude, but I don't think anyone cares. Jess says, I use it for posting ideas, and I use it to come up with a schedule. So here's an interesting one. We're doing in the Cookie College a photo cleanup challenge in the month of June. Mm-hmm. I struggle with looking at a calendar and adding every 5 days. So, because the photo cleanup challenge is such a task.
Yeah.
I can't have a prompt every day, right? They didn't have time to do the thing. So I said, hey, I think I want it every 5 days. How many break down June into every 5 days?
Yes.
That was really quick to do. Now, we talked about in the podcast last week about content buckets. Mm-hmm. You can have it hey, posting strategies, what times. Granted, it's not going to know the information that you want it to know. It doesn't know your audience. It doesn't know your page. But we can have it kind of be that bumper guide to design a content strategy.
You might be like, no, I asked it what time and it spit out time. Remember, it's getting information from marketers who've been making this content for years upon years. So what worked 5 years ago, that information is still on the internet. You got to remember, that's, even though it is old, archaic information, still ChatGPT can pull from that.
Right. So again, test, and retest. I don't think that will ever change in marketing.
Right.
Amy said, sometimes I need it just for one more design idea. And sometimes I need just one more design idea and I'll have it come up with some ideas. So
I want to say most of us in the past years have gone to places like Pinterest. I use hashtags on Instagram to get design ideas, but sometimes you want something unique. And you're like, hey, I got one more design set that I want to do, that I want something unique. And some people have some weird themes out there that they want.
Flamingo space penguin.
I had to do a baby shower.
The baby shower
from the Lord of the Rings. There was not much content out there. It was really taxing my brain to come up with ideas. Whereas AI could have helped me come up with some baby shower puns.
Now we have, and I'll leave her nameless. She said, I don't and I never will. It's my personal choice.
That's your personal choice, and you totally can choose that. That is something but here's the thing. I don't want you to come into the sugar cookie marketing group blaming someone for choosing to either use an Eddie, use a projector.
Don't let it fuel your anger. Instead of focusing on your marketing, which now you said I want to manually do it all, don't allow that to give you the excuse to be like, and I hate every other baker. And then your marketing becomes, and this is why you shouldn't use AI. Because I see that as more damaging than not using AI altogether.
Yeah. Here's the thing. You can get mad at the person when you're like, I see people get mad at Eddie. And I'm like, are you mad that you don't have one? Or are you mad that Eddie exists?
Here's my question. This person will remain nameless, and I may delete the comments so you can't find it, right? I didn't ask who wasn't using it. But what is that? Like if a psychiatrist or psychologist could come and tell me when I ask a question or when somebody on a Facebook group asks a question, that counter opinion that wasn't asked for, why does it always need to be added? Why does a person who's adding nothing to the original question feel compelled, the compulsion to be like, I'll never use it? I said, how are you using AI if you use it? So really, she should have just scrolled past.
But it is what it is. The internet gives everyone a platform.
And I'm going to hide that comment so you guys can't bully that person. Tina said, writing the first draft of copy for social media. I like what she added there. She's like, it's my first draft.
Here's the thing. AI has a way to say things that is glaringly AI written. It loves the three. It loves three adjectives.
I saw this guy on TikTok and he was like, here is the identifiers to know. And it's called a this, not that. So great, not good. Like AI will do these like things like a fantastic, wonderful, beautiful day.
It loves three adjectives.
Yeah.
It loves
it likes a list. It likes a double
dash.
A double dash. It's very interesting to see the tells there. And I think AI will kind of figure out what it's doing.
Absolutely. And I think teachers are becoming, because students, like it's in Archer, when he got any assignment due this year, it says, do not use AI. If we find out that you have used AI, you will fail this project.
Crazy. The future is now.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
I did go back to college as an adult, and it was right before AI models were released to the public, and I was like, thank goodness, because I can't imagine. What if you write really well, but you love a double dash? What if you're just a double dasher and a single dash?
What if you love an adjective?
Tina also writes, I put in my responses to difficult customer queries, and I ask it to make me sound more friendly and sincere. Stephanie says, I'm following because all I use it for is writing captions. Yeah, there's so much more versatility, I think. And these other people's ideas is a great way to glean more ideas.
And I will say that I'm not using it really well. I'm just using it for caffeine options.
Sorry, I won't be recovering from that one soon. That will be the only thing I talk about at lunch today. Caffeine options. Sorry, once we were in high school, and the teacher, who was also the principal, he said dune boogies, but he meant to say dune buggy. When the brain flips those vowels around like that, I think he said dune boogie, and I said to myself, oh my goodness, he said dune boogie. That's not only is that the funniest word I've ever heard, I can't handle.
Caffeine. Me and Heather started giggling.
I looked over quick. You know, like when you say, I'm gonna look at this person, I hope they're not looking at me. I look up, and Corey's eyebrows look and she's like, you know, the visual, did you just hear Dune Boogie? And then we start giggling. You know where you can't stop it?
The principal.
Do you have something to share with the class? Dune Boogie. Dialing back into coffees again. Jen said it literally writes on my post, my product descriptions, and my emails. I like the product description one. Yeah. Especially when you're character limited.
Yeah, I need
Sometimes when you have truncation in social media or definitely on websites in products, you could say like, we're only going to show 150 characters, a preview text. You can say AI, make bada bing, bada boom in the 150 characters, and that will help with click-through rate.
Where I see it's now being overly used to a disadvantage is people using it to make sales posts in community groups.
I can see
when they are all looking like ChatGPT wrote it. It's so easy to scroll by it,
and that's a differentiator. Yeah. And I know that the other poster was like, "I'll never use it." I think that what sets you apart is using it in tandem with your own self, your own unique twist on things. I think you'll be a force to be reckoned with.
Force to be reckoned with.
I was looking at those agents. Kind of was trying to understand what they are, right? So you say, hook up the agent to a model, hook it up to a parameter, and then give it access to apps. And then tell it, when I get an email that says this, send this email in response. That is a virtual assistant.
Yeah.
And sometimes, okay, you're like, well, what are you saying? Like, let's say I get somebody who wants to win the podcast sponsor. When I get an email that says that they won, and I'm talking to technology like it's a human, right?
Yeah.
Fascinating. They can interpret this. When somebody gets emails into my inbox, my Gmail, that they won the cookie design lab, have them send out an email that includes a form to submit.
That is a VA right there.
Right. That's a VA. And it just saves me time and I'm not having to pay somebody. So something to keep in mind. Someone said, Cookie Darling says captions and backgrounds. And backgrounds is a big one. We talked about the Backers Co. in the last week's podcast, which we recorded 2 minutes ago. That's why I can remember it finally. And I said, granted, it's very busy.
It is.
Granite countertops. And it's busy to hide spills.
Granted, it's busy.
Granted. I was like, it's not busy though.
But she said granite countertops are busy.
Sorry, yeah.
And a lot of people who are just getting into the business of baking and wanting to sell things, you are like, well, I don't have enough to invest in the Backers Co. That's a goal down the line. What can I do right now?
Here's what I'm going to say. This is where you have a blended approach to this. I can tell I can tell most of the time. Yeah. I'm sorry. It's getting better. I fell for an AI video the other day and everyone made fun of me. I can tell most of the time when someone's removed the background of an image using Canva AI and then added, they can say, now put this cookie, take it off the granite countertop and put it on a picnic table. Yeah. I can kind of tell the shadowing it's kind of struggling with. It's getting better. When I'm given the option, if you have a backdrop or AI, I would opt for the native photo. It builds trust. I'm not saying the other thing is distrusting. I can just see that it was not made natively. So then it creates that question, how much of this is real and how much of it is not?
True.
In a community group, a lady was selling like banana pudding cups or something. And she used AI to generate the image. For some odd reason, these AI generated flyers are always yellow, like a yellow tinge to them. I don't know why. Kind of the comic strips that came in, it's always yellow. And someone's like, I would have liked it better to see the actual product, although this is a cleaner design. Yeah. They were much ruder than I just was there.
Right. But you see, at the end of the day, people buy from those they know, they like, they trust.
Right.
So we do want to create the trust. I do see some people who are starting out, it is a better option to have AI erase the background
than the one that's really busy and distracting. So you're going to have to ask yourself, what's better for my situation today? Corey has a ton of backdrops.
I do.
But sometimes she doesn't have a ton of time. Maybe for this situation today, it's better if she has the background. And you can have it do more than just a wood background. You can have it in a
And at the end of the day, you have to think about your business. A lot of people say, I know a Corey photo when I see it through my feed. I don't even need to see that she posted it. I can tell it's hers. So that, to me, is also beneficial to my business that I've created a photo that is branded to my business that they know.
And it's a photo style. Something you can do. Oh, what I was doing the other day. You can say it match this photo style. Yeah. See what it does. Yeah. Somebody was an interesting case study we have those cookie class kits. Now, Corey had made a groovy set in 2023. It was pink and orange. These like groovy colors. Someone's like, hey, I would like to teach this for the 4th of July. Is there any way to get the colors to go from groovy to red, white, and blue? And then one of the members.
Red, white, and bluey?
Red, white, and bluey. Yeah. She said, I told AI to adjust the colors and it did. And I'm like, wow, that's I can't tell.
I want to say though, the photo that AI was given was clear on quality, white background, so it was easier for it to. Sometimes when I see people post their cookies on AI background, it's like taking a blob of the cookie because it couldn't differentiate the background from the foreground.
Garbage in, garbage out. I'll agree. So if you want AI to do its best, give it high quality. Okay, let's say you have a backdrop and it's white and you say, I wish this were on a picnic table platter.
Sure.
Give it the most high quality image to work with.
Yeah.
Someone says I use it to help. Voiceovers. You can see that a lot.
I will say now TikTok has the ability to insert an AI voiceover in the app.
Who is the guy? David Attenborough. If you watch any National Geographic, he's telling you where the penguins are headed. They have his voice. It's actually called Santa Claus, but it sounds just like it. So they have it voicing over someone's day, and it sounds like you're watching a National Geographic, which is pretty funny. So there's our options there. Allison says, post, I have it doing color mixing, theme ideas, condolences, I have it writing recipes, in-depth details about a subject, tech questions, and much more.
Wow.
I can tell Allison is an early adapter. Tanya says, at creating posts on days I have no idea what to say.
And that is a great one to do.
Great to, again, she's like, on the days I do know what to say, I'm not using it. On the days I don't know what to say. Whisk and Wonder says, it helps me draft social media posts for Instagram. Helium says I'm following, and Michelle says copy for my Facebook ads. Now, Meta announced this week that by the end of next year, 2026, the AI will be able to create the ad objective, find the user that will respond to the ad, and sell the product for
That's
you.
crazy.
So,
but it'll be crazy good for business owners.
Because imagine this. The current workflow is you have to create an ad objective. What's that? Do you want brand? Do you want clicks? Which one's going to resonate? Then you have to create the ad image.
Yeah.
Is it going to be a video? Is it going to be long? Is it going to be short? Is it going to be crazy? Is it going to be informative? Is it going to be UGC? Is it going to be a photo? Then you have to create the copy. Is it going to be this? You're going to use emojis. And then you have to marry those together and put in a budget.
And then on top of that, find your right audience. You're guesstimating your audience until it can kind of take root. That's a lot of money to go to guessing who the right person is.
And also for you guys who are on the fence about AI adoption, you can say, well, there's people's entire careers that's spent on creating this. So now we got a baker wearing 17 hats, and we're adding 3 more hats at all time. And now I have to figure out how to be a media buyer.
Yeah.
I have to figure out, I have to test. I could A/B test. I don't have time to A test, let alone A, B, C, and D test. Now AI is like, hey, listen, we're going to help you. We're going to lower your cost per click. So we're going to be able to find for you the person that's most likely to buy.
Yeah.
Does that sound like it saves you time?
It does.
It does. What is time?
Money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something to consider. So before you say absolutely not for me, consider some ways you can implement it. Maybe it's not, and I agree, I don't think it should be the replacement for you. There is AI spam that is all over the place. AI is now attempting to join Facebook groups. It can write really good answers to join questions.
I know. It can. And it's so hard to, because the questions that we're asking, like in my little local community group, it's like, what's your favorite area in Woodbridge? That's such a Googleable question.
It's so interesting. Yesterday, Corey's is a woman only group, right? So I just set the gender to male and I just reject those ones.
Yeah.
And I let Corey handle everything. The amount of profiles that are women that are set to men, which means they took over someone's profile, likely.
Yeah.
But answered the questions perfectly.
I know.
Horrifying.
I know.
Horrifying.
Yeah.
But yeah, that technology is ever increasing. When all these big names, when Microsoft, when Meta, when Alphabet or Google say this is where technology is going, it would be an admonishment to you to figure out how to incorporate it, how to use it to your advantage rather than boycott it.
Yes.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome. Obviously, you're on a marketing podcast with a business-centric focus, and our goal is to create more income, spending less time working so you can spend more time and money on the things that matter most. And this is going to be one of those tools.
You guys saw me fight tooth and nail to not make reels or video content.
Yes.
Because I didn't feel like it was good enough. Yes. But listen, I was left behind because I was so slow to adopt to it.
The early adopters to reels.
They do.
The early adopters to threads. The early adopters to when TikTok rolled out are the people with the multi-millions of followers with that content. Gary Vaynerchuk's a great example of like, whoa, you are an early adopter.
Right. So you can wait. It won't go anywhere. It's going to be here. So you can either wait, fight it tooth and nail, or you can say, let me take off my opinionated hat and put my baker business hat on and see how I could utilize this for my specific business. And it might just be, hey, here's a newsletter topic for you that your audience might be interested in. Or it could be your VA where you have it responding to emails so it can free you up some time so you can be busy in the kitchen baking your sets.
Right now, I'm going to say AI, 40%. Like, you're still the 60%.
Yeah.
I think it can be just an amazingly strong crutch. I see when people are using it as 100%, and it's not for me right now.
Right. I agree.
So I would say find where that 40% is for you. If it's the back end, if it's cleaning up your inbox, if it's organizing your photos, if it's writing a little first draft of copy, if it's helping with a little photo editing, do that.
People are even having it help price out things for them.
Very nice. I have it. I love to berate my sisters for not investing in the stock market.
Yeah.
So the average annual rate of return in the S&P 500 over 10 years is 10%.
You're right.
Okay, that math problem, I know I could solve it. I don't want to. So I asked ChatGPT, my little sister is much younger than us. She has time on her side and compounding interest. So she gets an order for some Sephora thing. Had she put that money in the...
It's so funny.
What?
I told Ashley, she asked me to bake a set for her brother-in-law's getting married.
Okay.
And then I said, oh yeah, I'll do it. I said, they're getting married on July 4th. So I said, red, white, and I do coming right up. And she said,
stupid cute.
I asked ChatGPT to make a set better than what I expected. So then she just sent me
Click
some
on it,
ideas.
make it too big. Let me see what it is. Okay, that's as basic as it gets.
It's as basic as it gets, but it's very cute.
And you can kind of see that her design idea there is on star shapes.
But I want to tell you, seeing this tells me where her head's at.
Twins. And an older sister. Anyways, I told Summer, I asked ChatGPT as she'd taken the Sephora order money, put it in the S&P 500, assuming everything goes according to plan for the next 40 or 50 years. That would have resulted in a $5,000 return.
Listen, you can't live your life in 40 to 50 years.
Where is it spent now? Figured out later.
So I thought that was a great question. It was great to see how people are utilizing it. A lot of people are doing it with their captions, which is fantastic. We also say use it as a baseline, not the end line, not the finish line. We want to have you incorporated in there. AI is now being utilized so much that we can kind of spot it a little bit. So you want to make sure that you tailor it to you, your business, your personality, because people want to know you. They want to buy from you. Mm-hmm. They don't want to necessarily buy from ChatGPT, and we can kind of spot that out in the wild now. It's easier. I can tell when bakers are using it 120% and not using their own. Moving on to either you want to talk about the Cookie College or you want to do we don't have the segment named yet, but the questions part of the podcast.
Cookie Design Lab stepped up.
They did.
Stepped out, stepped in. And they said, hey, we want to sponsor the texting questions. Now, you may have texted us the best name ever. You and ChatGPT sat down, came with the best name for the segment. Well, we had to record this a week early, so I haven't gotten your text
yet.
But
we will get it next week.
I'm from the past.
Speaking to you in the future, how is it? How's the stock market? S&P 500 doing well?
10% rate of return. Should we be pulling out? Okay, so the text we got from last week are counting for this week. You have an additional person. You have an additional 7 days to claim.
Additional?
You get 1 month of Cookie Design Lab. If you didn't win today, you can win later, but the code TWINS will get you 15% off. Cookie Design Lab is an STL designing software. They were part of the Vendy Blendy. I really like the app a lot.
Yeah.
I find it very, 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 very simple to use. As somebody who opened Fusion 360 last night, I said, oh my goodness. Fusion 360 is a lot.
Fusion 360 overwhelming because it does so much more than cookie cutters. Cookie Design Lab, cookie cutters.
Cookie cutters, very simple, very quick. When you say, I'm only using this cutter one time and I need it to be a workhorse. Yeah. So we have 3 texting questions left from last week that is now being moved into this week.
Number 2.
Number 2. Okay. 904. If you listen, Heather at sugarcookiemarketing.com.
Sounds like New Mexico.
Why?
Or Montana.
904. All right. I'll be so. It's not Montana because no bakers. Florida.
My
Specifically
goodness.
Nassau. There's a place in Baker, Florida that could be from. Clay,
crazy.
St. John's, Union County. Sounds like you're having a better beach trip than we are.
You are, girl. You are.
Baker, Florida. So you can email me and claim in the next 7 days from when you heard this podcast. Hi, twins. I'm a new cookier I'm a new cookier baking on the side with a top. So a little bit of a joke right there. Hi, twins. I'm a new cookier baking on the side on top of a full-time job with a family.
Wow.
I'm finding myself pulling overnighters to get everything done. I'd love some tips on how you schedule out your time for your business, baking, decorating, marketing, etc.
I want to say, as a new baker, it's hard to find where that happy place is because you're still learning it. So knowing that a set, how long it typically takes you, is going to help you be able to manage your time a lot better.
And she's like, how would I know how long a set takes me? I haven't gotten there
yet.
But
see, it's individual to each person because as you get more advanced, you can be quicker at things. You're no longer having to go on Etsy to find cutters. You already have the cutters available to you. That saves time there.
Maybe you printed them with the Cookie Design Lab.
Yes.
Code TWINS to save 15% off.
My biggest time giver instead of time sucker is having the cookie dough ready to go in the fridge. Since my fridge upstairs in my kitchen is so teeny tiny, my husband loves to buy food. I had to get an additional fridge from Walmart.
You got those tall fridges.
Yeah, it's like
just shelving.
It's just shelving, and it's
Very
just
nice.
a freezer, and it just has cookie dough in there.
That is a physical time back buyer.
It was.
Can you put icing in there? White.
You can put icing in the freezer at all times. It actually is able to defrost rather quickly. You would think freezing, that takes hours. Not when it comes to icing.
So I like this for her because she's like, I got a family. I got a full-time job. This is my side hustle. Having this stuff in the flanks is great. Now I'm going to tell you, Miss Cookier that is new, I'm speaking from the future of other cookiers. They regret buying every single cutter off the bat.
They do.
They wish they stuck to basic sizes.
Yeah.
And what you don't have, you can always print.
Yeah.
Now, it may be a bit of a fetish for you guys to just go to Etsy and add it to cart because it feels good.
Sure.
It feels great. Maybe not getting started because the side effect is not only is it a money suck, it's a space suck.
It is.
So we're going to stick to basics. We're going to batch our content. Now, you may not have the same 24 hours I have because you have so much going on. You're going to use, I know Facebook Planner on a page only lets you go about a month and change out. But you can use a third-party schedule, and I use one called FeedHive that lets me schedule out posts for months and months and months.
Yeah.
It also lets me reschedule content. So I can call recycle content and change my caption a little bit.
Yeah.
So I can make my small access of content work longer for me.
On Sundays, because typically when you get going, you're getting a lot of orders in. I can know what I can take during the week. Typically, because I too work a day job and do cookies in the evening, but I still want a solid 8 hours of sleep. That's 7 dozen for me.
Okay.
So 7 dozen, I know on Sundays, there's 7 dozen in front of me for the week. I can make all the sets on Sunday and put them in the freezer. I put them in their own.
You make all the sets on Sunday?
I make all the cookies on Sunday for the week.
You don't decorate them, you cut them.
I'm just cutting them.
Okay.
So my bake day is ended on Sunday. It starts and ends versus making a set. Okay, now I got to defrost. Now I got to wait for that defrost.
I think she's looking at batching both marketing and baking.
Yeah.
And that's how you're going to do that. Now, what you're going to find is people are going to like you. They're going to like your cookies. They're going to like your stuff. They're going to like your marketing. And you're going to see that like that question comes up like, when do I take that switch?
Where's my list? When do I start turning people away?
You're going to hate this. No, I mean like switching from your full-time job to being a full-time baker.
Sure.
You're going to have to turn some people away. So that's when that happens. Like I'm leaving money on the table here. I think I could do this full-time. I like it better than my job. 6 months emergency fund.
Yeah.
6 months. And I know it sounds like you have possibly a second income because you mentioned family. So then your emergency fund is going to get to be less aggressive, but you'll want to have a combined emergency fund across your family with your basic expenses. Now, a lot of people say 3 months. If your spouse has a consistent job of which they're employed by someone, that's typically the goal. 3 months, and you're going to cover food, shelter, water, basics, right? If you're both entrepreneurs, you're going to want that to be 12 months. So it's going to push that out a little bit.
Yeah. So here's what you're going to think. If you quit your day job and you're now fully reliant on your baking income, the oven goes out. Oof. That is a big thing, and that's going
where
to
that
deplete.
emergency fund.
So you're going to want to beef your fund because now 100% of your business is depending on.
Right. And emergency funds are meant to be spent in case of emergency. Don't feel bad. You replenish it after the emergency.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's going to be my recommendation. So you have 1904. You can email me, heather@sugarcookiemarketing.com. I'll connect you with Cookie Design Lab and you'll get a month.
And I want to say that will help you even be more efficient.
And cheaper. It is much cheaper to print your own.
Yeah, it sure is.
And a lot of the cutter shops have adapted to new technology and have provided us with the STLs.
Yeah, which is
Instead
fantastic.
of saying, I hate that people are getting 3D printers, I'm never going to sell the STLs, they've adapted. Last text I'm going to read, Google My Business Questions, now Google Business Profiles. The acronym changed. Google put that one on us. The number of views on my Google Business Profile has grown a lot since I've been consistently back in the cookie game, but my interactions and click-through rate hasn't changed. As in, no one is clicking through to my site. Do you all have any tips or tricks on getting that rate up for my Google Business Profile?
The thing with the Google Business Profile is you're ranking in a maps section of it. A lot of people don't actually shop from maps. It's where they get an idea of you. That's where they're doing the research part of you.
Because remember, we're not brick and mortars.
Yeah, we're not brick and mortar. So when someone comes to my Google Business Profile, I want to make sure that my reviews are responded to. I got up-to-date photos. I got my classes listed. I got my updates. I got what I offer there. This is them doing the research on me. It's not necessarily where they're coming from.
I don't typically search a business on maps and then go to its website.
Right.
I typically either navigate to it or just go. Now, we are different. We're not brick and mortar. So you typically think to place the order, they're going to have to click to the website. Now, keep in mind this. Google Business Listings and your website have a relationship in terms of Google search ranks. That relationship is not told, but if you're ranking well in maps, likely you're ranking well in search. Meaning that click that may have been pulled in through maps was actually attributed to Google search. That is confusing. So your click-through rate, if the views are going up, I'm happy. If the click-through rate is not there, we could try possibly creating a promotion and posting it.
You can post an offer on your Google business profile.
Google business profiles, those posts are hard to come by. They're weird.
Yeah.
But, consistency is key. I'm not creating a Google business listing so I can be a social media superstar. I'm creating it so I can rank well. Mm-hmm. And that's really why we make those posts.
Yeah.
To that
I
profile.
find that people come to a Facebook group, ask for a baker. Someone tags me. They go to my Facebook page. It's always iffy on Facebook page reviews because now they're called recommendations. Mm-hmm. So they've done the research there. They see my work. Now let me go to Google where I can get more of an independent response with the reviews, because it's more like people finding me on Google, posting on there, and then they do the research there. Then they're ready to book. But they've had my information from.
So whatever you're doing to increase impressions, great. The click-through there, it would not be my biggest focus. I'd keep an eye on it. Mm-hmm. I would, that click-through rate, because it's such a weird place. Mm-hmm. Google business listings are wild. Mm-hmm. They're great. I love them. Mm-hmm. I hate them too.
Yeah.
Moving on, we have the Cookie College. If you're listening to this from the future, we have dropped the Independence Day, 4th of July Cookie Class Kit. The digital download thank you thing has dropped as well. We're moving into mid-June, which is a little bit of a slower time for us. A lot of schools are out now. Mm-hmm. Our school let out today, our local county. So now we go
on
into
a Tuesday? Oh, no.
It might have been Wednesday.
Yeah.
We're in the doldrums. We're entering the doldrums of summer. It's so funny. Somebody had asked in the Sugar Cookie Market group, how are you guys getting orders for winter? And I was
she was in Australia.
She was in Australia. I forget you guys. We're in the doldrums of summer. You might be in the doldrums of winter. Crazy to celebrate Christmas when it's hot. I know Floridians, quiet. I know. But for us, it would be wild for me to be like, hang tents, Santa. Yeah. But
you could use all the Christmas in July sets. It'd be just crazy.
So funny. Yeah, they could really nail that one. The Cookie College, we're getting ever closer to that promotion. The midsummer membership sale. I'll be producing more content once I return from the beach. Suntan.
Be recharged and ready to roll.
What if it's raining while they're listening to this?
That's okay.
Corey said she's not going to sleep at the beach this week.
Unless it's raining.
We're at the beach while you're listening to this. Ask if she's sleeping.
Probably so. I like a little nappy nap. I brought a book. Couldn't tell you the name. But
I bought a book last night too. I'd never read a book in my life. I listened to books. But I said, when in Rome.
Here's the thing. The doldrums of summer can be the doldrums, and you can just wait till things pick up, or you can plan to grow your business in the summer.
Right. Kind of with the podcast topic this week, using AI. Mm-hmm. You could start implementing that. Now, if you listen to the podcast topic last week and you listen to the texting questions, someone said my fiscal year ends in June. Mm-hmm. What are my end of year tasks? You can make June, July, August your refresher, your cleanup, your organize, your strategize, because our Cookie Super Bowl is heading at us in an unprecedented speed.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Did May even exist? Was it 3 days long or 4?
6 months. I'm so sorry. I blinked.
It's June 3rd. Yes. I feel like it was June 1st 2 days ago. Right. It was, but it feels like it's almost June 25th.
Yes.
I'll be at the beach. That's how I've been looking forward. Someone said strategy.
Yeah.
That you can slow down your calendar year by implementing big, different things that make your brain register that this was unlike the rest of the days.
Right. And that could be the midnight summer night sale.
Midsummer membership sale is the last week of July, which takes us in the first 2 days of August. It'll only 7 days. It starts and ends in exactly 7 days, starting that last week of July. It'll be the only sale we run until we get back to the Blendy. I can't believe I'm even uttering those words.
But if you want to have your business ready for success, if you don't want to be overwhelmed and burnt out by the end of December, this is the membership sale for you.
If you are in our $2 transfer club, I added a bunch of 4th of July transfers, specifically as requested by Corey a couple podcasts ago, as Patriotic 4.
Oh, yeah, that's nice. Yeah, I think Patriotic 4, a lot of us have to put that on Cookie, like when it stands out a little bit.
Yeah, I added it. And then if you just want a basic 4, you can just pipe over my little flag.
Yes.
Very fun. So the Cookie College information, you can check it out at thecookiecollege.com. After this podcast, I'll be pushing out more content about what the Cookie College is and how you can capitalize on the mid-summer membership sale, the MSMS.
If you didn't catch it, there was 2 Facebook Lives last week. We had one on the 4th, and it was about flip insurance. Yeah. Flip insurance is big because it's this ambiguity. Do I need it? Do I not need it? So if you want to go, you can go listen to it. It's there for 30 days. Now Facebook will delete lives after 30 days.
I'm trying to get them to send it to
me. And if they send it, we'll put it on the YouTube channel. If not, you want to snag that. Also, we have a Facebook Live that was on Saturday, and it was about how to get more Google reviews using Eddie.
And that is how how we get better Google rankings.
How neat. You already know if you want to teach a class in July before July 4th, the Independence Cookie Class Kits is so stinking adorable.
So stinking cute.
It's so stinking cute. So you can snag that right now if you want to. It's everything you need to teach a cookie decorating class. All they need is you.
Prep, market.
And the dough.
You need you, the dough. And we have a partnership with Sweet Pink Olive. There's a couple deals you can actually snag there when you sign up if you want to do that consistently. Because Corey and I find that cookie classes are our highest margin item. We've been doing them for so long now that the August class, which I actually posted back in February, is already sold out. Nice. My Halloween class is filling up. And yes, I already posted the Christmas class. Yeah. And it is starting to fill up, which is wild because we still have 7 months of the year left.
But the class kits are great. If you join the college, you get access to the 3 years worth of classes. The class kits right now is just everything that's dropped in 2025. If you want some variety, you can join the college and you can download all of them. That honestly makes your membership worth it. And if you do the midsummer midnight sale,
Corey.
If you do the MS sale at the end of July, beginning of August, that'll be worth your membership plus some, I promise.
Yeah. Next up, you are jealous of how I stay organized.
You got to
be jealous. Yeah. You can learn it.
Heather teaches it. It's like her brain written out in video form. Next up, without the podcast sponsors, we would not have a podcast. So thank you all who listen to the podcast, but also support the sponsors, because buying from them, using the code is how they track if this is working for them. Mm-hmm. So we appreciate each and every one of you who do that. First and foremost, we have Royal Batch by Bakety Bake. It's a meringue powder. If you're having a tough time finding your favorite meringue powder, it might be time for you to try Royal Batch. The great thing is, she has little sample packets that you can use, that you can try. I have posted my recipe that many people have used and have found very great success. So especially if you live in a humid climate like we do here in the DC area, in the Baking with Sugar Cookie Marketing Group, if you want to snag those sample packs for a discount, use code TWINS and that will save you 10%. But you can definitely try it. It already has 3 ingredients in it: white food coloring, vanilla extract, and corn syrup. I love it. I use it exclusively for every one of my orders. People who say, why are your cookies so shiny? It's because it already has the corn syrup in it. I don't have to add to it. So that is fantastic to use.
Now, I talked about the backers code, the backdrops earlier in this podcast, but I do think if you're a beginning baker, if you're an advanced baker, photography sells. Yeah. Better pictures sell more product, make more money. Simple as that. There's no formula there. Take better photos, make more money.
Exactly.
The Backers Co. has offered us 25% off. This is the only place that they offer this, from what I know. And use the code Sugar Cookie. Corey likes white matte finish.
White matte finish.
White matte finish. I was going to say Polaroid, but it was not. White matte finish. And then they have additional colors as you say, okay, I want to level up my photography game. Even if I'm using AI to assist, remember that high quality, less busy background is for AI to be able to better understand kind of what it's seeing.
I've been having a lot of cake, pop, and macaron orders. So using the L brackets that they sell and using 2 boards at the same time has made it so you're not seeing my living room in the background. It's creating like this own photography studio because the backers stand straight up together and kind of transform my space. And I have a matching backdrop to like the cake pop or the macarons that I'm using.
And if you're a cake baker, they have different sizing too. Speaking of AI, Eddie printed cookies. A lot of bakers are moving to get AI to generate the photo that they can print. The flamingo in space. Yeah. Eddie is an edible food printer, meaning you upload a piece and imagery and it can spit that out right on the cookie. And that's where I see a lot of shops now offering AI prints. If you're into that, some of them are really unique and some of them are more simple. However, Eddie, the edible food printer by Primera, my best recommendation is go find them on Instagram. Their Facebook group is amazing, but it's kind of more of a support group. Like people are like, it's not working and it's midnight. How do I get help? The Instagram is best for somebody printed on this like really special kind of cookie.
What? I
think it was like Butterfly Bakes. It was a cookie that had a fancier name.
It was a meringue.
Yeah, and she printed on it. That's pretty neat.
Yeah,
it's
very neat
use case. And you can print on a lot more. You can print on any type of food, ideally with a white background.
Yes.
Ideally. You want to say something?
No, I'm going on to Baking Me Crazy. Baking Me Crazy is our next sponsor. They're rolling in with us. They're giving us the information, but you can actually buy from them online. They're an online retailer. They have gel colors like the Sugar Art, flavorings like Lorraine's. They have Whipsy on there, which I do love Whipsy. Oh. Yeah, satin ice fondant. They even sell Daisy Makes cookie cutter molds. I mean, cake pop molds, sorry.
Cookie cutters.
Yeah, you could use it for cookie cutters if you wanted to. Cake pop molds, and they have sprinkles, jimmies, everything like that.
Right. So we're from the past, we're in the future. I didn't get her onboarding email just yet. She just signed on yesterday from the past. I'm sure she's provided, but thank you Making me crazy for joining us. Thank you, Cookie Design Lab, for stepping up and taking the stupid questions, whatever the STL questions. I'm not sure what we're calling it. Filament freaks. Not sure. And those are our sponsors. The more you support them, the more they pay to sponsor this, which keeps this podcast going. If you like these voices, yes, you do. You're going to want to support these shops. You have a twintress. I can tell you're hungry.
Do you have a twintress? Do you have a twintress yourself?
A twintress.
A twintress.
I'm gonna say this one. Bath and Body Works SPF.
Oh, Heather, we were walking the malls.
Listen, I am a ghost. I'm a pasty pale. I lack color.
You do.
And oddly, I'm tanner than Corey. And that should tell you.
Yeah.
So Bath and Body Works, love them. They have a beach line. I didn't really think they had. Okay, cream SPF, I'm sure it works better.
Sure.
And I'm roasting right now.
It's hard to reach your back.
It's hard to get an even application. And then I have just when my skin is sticky, I can't.
It's a wrinkle in the sock for you.
A wrinkle in the sock for me. So we were walking through Bath and Bod and we found this sprayable SPF and I thought it tasted like a beach coconut.
Yeah.
And it was, I think it was SPF 50.
I think so.
Yeah.
Was it 30 or 50?
It might have been 30 or 50, whatever. I'll reapply.
Yeah,
reapply.
For sure. And we're not playing in the water.
We're doing it live. So that's my twin dress. And I hope I'm basking in it as we speak.
Okay, my twin dress was from Frank, my HVAC technician that came by yesterday. He said
Why
the
are
biggest
you having
thing.
more problems with your HVAC?
No, it was just they do a
Tune-up.
spring and a winter tune-up. Yeah, so he was very nice. He was there for about 2 hours showing me pictures of his dogs and everything like that. But he was like, hey, Corey, I really like it. I'm going to tell you something. If an HVAC technician comes up and says your capacitor is going,
Okay.
he's like, they're not wrong. Anything you install starts going as soon as it's installed.
Amen.
He said there is a range for your capacitor. He said it's right on your capacitor. You could ask him to show it to you. And then what you say, what are the variants? He said as soon as you say what are the variants, when they say your capacitor is going, they instantly know to not take advantage of you because you know what you're talking about.
So I need 2 words, range and variance and capacitor.
Yes. He says a
AI,
capacitor.
please talk my HVAC technician off of the sales list.
He said, well, I would charge you for a capacitor today, $700. How much you can buy it off Amazon? $50.
Shit.
Yeah. So he said, if you want to help the elderly, help your parents, not
Help
be
the
taken advantage
bakers.
of yourself, he said, your capacitor is what runs the system.
And he's like, okay, I seem to know your stuff, girl. And you're like, and I'll order from Amazon. Then I don't know what to do with it out of that.
He said, you just look up the capacitor. It says, it's even showed me.
So you order the capacitor, now you have to call him back to replace it?
Yeah. He said, there's only 4 cords. He said, what you do is right outside of your wall where the system is, you open this little box.
Lord.
That's where you turn off the 245 volts to the system.
Oh my goodness, we're dealing with electricity. This man had high hopes
electricity.
for
That's
you.
how it makes it go.
This man had high hopes for you.
Yeah, well, I just
I
appreciate
didn't realize
you
he
being
was getting your certification in HVAC.
Oh, he explained everything to me. He even let me touch my condensating coil. It's freezing. He said it's not used during, when someone says your condensator, your coil is dirty, he said it rarely is dirty because it condensates so the water drips it off. He said your system, if you're not replacing the filter, can cake up on there.
Okay.
So they'll be like, oh,
We'll replace the
it's
filter.
filthy. He said the filter is the number one thing that kills your system.
I change mine every 4 months.
He said if you have pets, you need to do every 3.
Okay, here's what I want to tell people. And this is a life hack, man. AI, get out of my way. This is a Heather hack.
Sure.
The filter is made of cardboard. I write on it notes to myself. I find notes from myself all the time, and I'll be like, Heather, you replace this on this day. You're supposed to replace it on this day. Here's where you ordered this from.
Yeah, he even let me. I said, "Where can I order this filters?" He's like, "Technically, me." He said, "But I
triple
can't
the
stop
price.
you from taking a photo of here and here."
Yes, so I got mine from Home Depot.
Yes.
Or Lowe's or something.
Yeah.
I leave little notes like that all the time because future me won't remember.
Yeah.
Future me doesn't know. But past me says, girl, I'm lobbing, since we're in a time travel episode anyways, I'm lobbing this one over to you so you don't have to think about it anymore.
Honestly, if you
Do
have
that
a
on light
kid-
bulbs. You buy a kit of light bulbs, you only need one.
I know, I
Right.
need a
I
light
bought this light bulb for the upstairs vanity. That's where it matches.
That's
where it
that's what
goes.
I'm going through right now. The basement has a light out. I don't know where to get it.
It is a hell on earth.
No, it's very.
You know what your
black.
best bet is to take one out that isn't out and you just read it on the side.
I'm gonna take him who
I'm so
is
sorry.
out.
Here's what I did.
What?
AI. Google Lens.
Yeah.
I took the bulb out. I had Google Lens scan it, can do text to search. Because image to search.
Yes.
So it read the side of the bulb and it found it on Amazon.
Oh, that's nice. That's very nice. I might have to do that.
That is very nice. That's a very nice swing.
I will have to say, if you have a child and you're like, should they go to college? Should they go in trade school? Apparently, HVAC is the trade to be in.
I read an article that says AI will have the biggest impact on new knowledge workers. So people just out of college with no experience, nothing under their belt, and who have a skill that could be easily replaceable by low-level AI. They'll be struggling. The side thing, the counter thing is trade, which is mechanic, HVAC, plumbing,
variable issues
that a robot can't do.
Yeah, the HVAC, that's going to be one. Plumbing, that's going to be another.
Electrician.
Any mechanic on a car.
Remodeling. Drywall.
Yeah, I want to say that is probably, because he was like, listen, I would charge you $700 for something that's $50. Do you see the markup there? And he was like, and I'm here in your house for 1 to 2 hours.
Once I read that the trades per hour, their hourly labor rate is so high because trade work is so taxing on the body that they have to forefront the fact that they'll have such bad medical issues, knees, backs,
He also said that when you're on call, he said a lot of single men join HVAC because they don't mind being on call 24/7. They're just there to make the ball
price.
Yeah, because you're there when someone in the middle of the night, my HVAC went out, it's 80
Here's what I love. How come that's such a thing we know? We're all conditioned to know if you call the HVAC guy after hours, you're going to pay a surcharge. But bakers are like, either can or can't. Imagine you're like, hey, guy, my house is flooding. And he's like, I can or I can't.
Yeah, I'm tired, so I will be going to bed.
Right. No, you'd be like, how much can I pay you to be less tired?
Right, because at the end of the day, when I'm sweating, I'm willing to pay a lot more than when I'm not.
I need you.
All right, guys, we are at the beach, but we will be back shortly.
Longly. No, I'll be back longly.
Longly, but 5 days. But don't break into my house. My husband is staying home, so him and the dog will be
break into my house, take my cat, feed him. Good luck.
Best of luck. He's annoying.